What is up? It is Monday. It is July 11th. 7-Eleven. It's 7-Eleven. And right now, I am in the process of getting the dishes, the clean dishes put away and the dirty dishes in the dishwasher so I can at least start those. Today's outfit is, I have my fun paper bag shorts. This is the outfit for today. I love this shirt. Got it a long time ago, even with the necklace. But today, I am officially 11 weeks pregnant. We have an ultrasound today, and I am terrified. I don't know. It's like I'm not so much terrified. That's the wrong one to use. I'm extremely nervous, just because I want the baby to be alive and healthy and thriving. I don't want any hiccups, and I slept okay. I don't feel like I slept really at all. And when I get really, really nervous about something, I tend to want to just sleep because sleeping is very comforting to me. But I have to get some of these dishes and everything done. And it's annoying because I don't want to. But yeah, the appointment's at 3. I'm going to try to film. I don't know if they're going to allow me to film. If I don't film at all, then obviously you guys will know the results afterwards. But yeah, so I'm just like super, super nervous. And that's all I have for right now, is that we have an ultrasound at 3 and I'm really fucking nervous. Yep. All right, so I'm trying to block the window behind me because it's really bright right now and I don't want to blind you guys. I put my hair up in a ponytail. No, I did not just chop my hair off. No, it's up in a ponytail because, yeah, it was just annoying me. So went to the doctor and did not film it, one, because I forgot to ask. I mean, the ultrasound was like super fast, which was awesome. And by the time I upload this video, you guys will already probably have seen the surprise video. But yeah, so basically, we went in there, and I probably might already have said this in the other video, but if you guys didn't see that video, well, here's my weekly update. One, they said I'm measuring 11 weeks and 5 days, so I'm more towards the 12-week mark, which makes more sense in my head, because for some reason, a lot of my symptoms were saying I kept thinking I was getting towards the second trimester, because I'm starting to have slow energy burst throughout the week now, and I know you get your energy back in your second trimester. Not always, not every pregnant person. But anyways, so we get in there and we're waiting for like, I don't know, like 10 minutes. Go back in the thing. I can't remember our tech's name. Can't remember if he's a tech or doctor, but we'll just say tech. He was a guy. I lay down and, he put the jelly stuff on and moved the thingy around, and he's like, the first thing he asked me was, were you guys trying to get, did you guys use any like IVF, or he said my god, I cannot talk. This is how shocked I am as I'm recording my weekly thing, because I'm recording my weekly thing before I record the other video that you'll probably see before this one. But anyways, so he asked me, I don't think Jim heard him, if we had any sort of like in vitro, basically IVF, if we had any IVF. And I said, no. Why? Because I was thinking, okay, something's wrong, but I was like, no, the only thing that we've been using is I bought this progesterone cream off of Amazon. It's like SM Nutrition or whatever, and which is true because I talked about that before. I think I talked about it before, but either way, yes, I did. If you haven't seen that video, it was like us finding out we were pregnant. So, long story short, he goes, okay, well, because you're having triplets. Let that word sink in. Triplets. You guys. I know this picture's I know that's like really, really blurry, but like, yeah, so I didn't believe him at first, because when I saw the ultrasound, I saw like something that looked like this, right? I mean, I saw I saw that, and I was thinking it was the baby's head, stomach, and butt. You know how you always see like in ultrasounds, and I did see a line with another bubble, but I just thought that was my bladder because they said come with a full bladder, so I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, oh, there's the baby. It's laying like this, and there's my bladder, and obviously it's full. No, no. So yeah, I would have been happy. Oh, by the way, they all have their own individual sex, um, and they all have their own heartbeat. They are strong heartbeats so far. Jim thinks baby C looks a little bit smaller, but always in triplets, your one baby is going to be a little bit smaller. So the doctor or the tech was like, "You conceived these naturally." I'm like, "Yeah, we did," and he was shocked. And I asked him, I said, well, is that kind of like a really uncommon thing to happen in older women's births? Because, I'm 37. I'll be 38 when I have these babies. That's, I say babies instead of baby. But anyway, so he said, actually, the older you get, there are chances of you having multiples. And I was like, oh, did not know that. So, one, shout out to that cream that definitely helped us get pregnant. I'm still like in shock. The shock has worn off throughout I'm really, really tired right now. Like, I keep rubbing my eyes because like I didn't sleep well last night, and then a couple hours before, right after I filmed the beginning part of this before the doctor's office, right before that I had a panic attack. I don't know why, and it was not like a panic attack like, oh my god, I think that like something's wrong with the baby. I just had like an exciting, overwhelming panic attack. Like, we're gonna have good news. Good news. No, it's great news. It's shocking because, sorry, there's like a really low flying military chopper flying overhead. It's vibrating the house. You guys probably can't hear that on camera, but it was really loud. Anyways, so I'm still in shock because I'm like, okay, I still don't believe it. How about that? It's like, I know I was there. Obviously, he was scanning my stomach, but I just, in my head, can't process it yet because I went from my stillborn, Lillian, Cora, who was killed, and then our miscarriage last year. And I'm thinking, is this making up for all three of them, which is great? And I went into panic mood kind of when we came home because I was like, oh my god, now we have to buy triple of like everything. And our financial situation is not that great. I mean, it will get better, obviously. But I was like, not only, or I plan on breastfeeding, which is going to be interesting because I don't know. I'm panicking, but in like a normal way that anybody who finds out they're having triplets is panicking. I'm kind of worried about the postpartum aspect because I am really prone to postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, postpartum, just the normal, like the more severe mental illness of postpartum. And losing that much sleep, it's going to be hard, but I'm more confident, I guess, because it's not like I'm going into this like pregnancy or birth and raising babies blindly, I mean, we both have kids, so I know what to expect. The no sleeping, the breastfeeding, the constant crying, the constant changing diapers, the dirty piles, like, I know what to expect. It's going to be triple. I say this now, and I bet you anything I'm going to come back and watch this video after these babies are born and kick myself in the butt for saying this because I have confidence now. But it also dawned on me that it makes a lot of sense because the other day when I was looking at my profile, like my belly pictures, I know every pregnancy is different. You can have some pregnancies where you don't show at all until you're like 8 months, or you have like 2 months in, you're like the size of a balloon. Every pregnancy is different. It just depends on your baby's size, where they're sitting in your uterus, if it's front or back. Some pregnant women have like kind of like lopsided pregnancy bellies, where like the baby's sitting all on one side, so it's like they look like it's like. But in my head, I'm kind of freaking out there because I'm like, my body, like I know the babies are going to come early. That's a given. And I'm a little afraid of having a cesarean. I'm like a little bit afraid. I'm hoping I can give them, like, birth them naturally, because all of my kids were natural births. I'm hoping that I can do that. And I hope, I mean, if I have to have a C-section, so be it, as long as the babies are fine. But it really reassures me, though, going to the doctor today, knowing that not only is one of the babies healthy, but all of them are. Like I said, they each have their own individual sex, they each have their own individual umbilical cords, so they're probably not going to be identical. And he said that the risk of, it's a lower chance of losing one, basically meaning I'll carry to term for triplets because of the fact that they're in individual sex. Or at least that's what I heard. Yeah, Jim's right now is sleeping. That's why he's not in this part of the video. But anyways, yeah, so this, like I said, oh, that's what I was saying about the belly, though, before I let you guys go for today. The belly. The other day when I was looking at my profile, I kept thinking that I look bigger than I should at this far along. And we kept joking, what if it's twins? And we kept joking, and didn't think 3. But yeah, they were conceived naturally, so there's no, like, other than that progesterone cream, I mean, nothing else was involved. So maybe some wine, but that's beside the point. On that note, I'll let you guys go for today, and I will talk. Oh, by the way, like I said, as of today, I guess now I'm 11 weeks, 5 days today. So my new due date supposedly is January 26th. So they weren't too far off from January 29th when they gave me the first date. And I'm sure, I know that the babies will come early. It's rare that triplets last till like 39, 40 weeks. So I keep saying we're going to have a Christmas baby. But on that note, until tomorrow. All right, I wanted to come on here one last time. I know I said earlier that will be the last video today. One, I want to say that in future videos from now on, if I sit there and say, like, today, it's like the end of today, but like since we went to the ultrasound place today, and they said I was 11 weeks and 5 days, in 2 days will be the end of 11 weeks. So that means on, let's see, today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So on Thursday, we'll start 12 weeks. So that means that this is like a transition week. So starting Thursday, I will be saying that I'm 12 weeks pregnant. And that might confuse people because it'll look like I skipped kind of like a week. I don't know if that's confusing. Let me know below. But in my head, it's like this week will be labeled like 11, 12 weeks. Because I have to combine them. And then I guess I can go from a Thursday to Thursday now instead of a Sunday to Sunday. But I went according to my last period. So, but yeah, it's still a shock. I'm going through waves of shockness right now, like where I'm super excited and super confident that everything's going to be fine. And then when I really start to think about it, I'm like, how are we going to fit 3 car seats in our vehicle? I don't like minivans. I don't despise them. I don't like them. Mostly because we live in an area where it floods really easily. Not like like where we live, like immediately right now, but just in general. In North Carolina, we live like right outside Wilmington, and Wilmington floods, and minivans tend to are low to the ground. I don't know. I've always, I never really liked minivans, but I know you can fit 3 car seats in the vehicle we have now. We have a Hyundai. And the best solution would be to ask the firefighters, or just go to, I guess, measure the car seats at Walmart or Target or whatever, and then see how wide each one would be, and then take them to the fire station so they can install them. But it dawned on me, the car seats are expensive, and they can be expensive. Personally, I like Graco's all-in-ones. That's just me. And then we have to get nursery items, like a crib and stuff. At first, I was thinking, well, we can start with 1 crib, because the babies will be small enough. They can sleep in 1 crib for like a couple months until we get 2 more cribs, and then they each sleep separately. Plus, I'm pretty sure for the first few months, they're going to want to all sleep together anyways. And right now, where my bed is, I'll show you guys. So, like, I have this entire space over here on my bed. I know on camera it probably doesn't look that big, but like I can set up 1, 2, 3 like bassinet type of things, or have one pack and play and have all the babies in the pack and play right next to me. So if I do wake up and breastfeed or whatever, I really wanted a co-sleeper that can fit on the bed in between me and Jim. But now that we're having triplets, which is still scary to say, I don't know. I don't think a 3 of them would work, if that makes sense. I think I wanted a co-sleeper just because if your baby does wake up and want to feed at certain hours of night, then you could just kind of like roll over and give them the boob, as opposed to like fully waking up and sitting up and stuff. I know that's down the road, but that's literally where I'm at right now. I'm kind of going through waves of like panic and excitement. Right now, I just sent Jim out to the store to get pizza because I was watching YouTube, and it was try not to eat something, and one of the people were eating pizza, and I was like, oh my god, pizza sounds good. Okay, well, I want pizza. And of course, root beer, because apparently that's like one of my cravings that I've been having for a few weeks now is root beer. I really want the Bart's root beer. The one that comes in a silver can, the one with caffeine, the one that actually tastes good, not the A&W root beer that has no caffeine that tastes like cream soda. But I will take what I get. Because there is a difference. And pizza, for some reason, sounds really good. So I'm going to have a late night snack because it's like 10:15. I try not to eat this late at night. But one thing I will say is that a lot of things were adding up now that I know that we're having triplets. Because, like, I have this pitcher of water right here, right? Okay. That I keep by my bed. It's just a standard, glass pitcher. I keep by my bed so that way I don't have to keep getting up and down and get water. I just fill it up every night or whatever. And then if I'm up during the day, I'll get water out of the sink and keep this for nighttime. But I usually go through 1, maybe 2 of these per day, which seems like a lot of water. And I was getting really concerned because I was thinking that, if I don't use the sink at all, then I go through 2 of these. But if I use the sink plus this, I'll use about 1 of these. I don't know how much water this holds. I really don't. But at first I was like, I'm starting to drink a lot of water. And I was thinking, oh my God, it's probably like gestational diabetes. Because I know when you're diabetic, you drink a lot of water and you're always thirsty and stuff. And I was going to ask my doctor about it because we go back to the doctor on the 21st. Our doctor that we currently have before we're going to transfer to the high-risk center. Yes, I'm still wearing my ultrasound band because for some reason, I can't find the little knobby thingy and I just found it. This little part is what I've been looking for all day, so I could just rip it off. But anyways, which now I could do. But no, I was going to ask my doctor because I was like, well, I'm drinking a lot of water for this early in pregnancy, and I don't know when people develop gestational diabetes. I've never had gestational diabetes ever in my pregnancies, but it is a thing, and every pregnancy is different. You can develop it, whatever. So I was going to ask, and then when I heard that we're having triplets, I was like, well, that makes sense that my body needs like the more hydration. So all in all, I guess drinking 1 of those a day at the least is not really a lot for, me plus 3. And then it dawned on me, so technically our due date, I might have already said this like earlier today, but our due date was supposed to be January 29th. They bumped it up to January 26th. I think we're going to probably have it before Christmas. We're going to have these babies before Christmas because everything I read about triplets, they come early, as early as like 32 weeks on as late as like 37 weeks, but they usually don't make it to 37 weeks. They usually like always come early. They're always born via cesarean, which doesn't really scare me as much anymore. The recovery process scares me about a cesarean because I won't be able to like just get up and go to the bathroom if I want to because I'll have stitches. I'll have to be very, very careful about how I move because I don't want to tear the stitches. And that's what scares me because I don't think about how I move, like now, or even like at the end of my pregnancies. I never really fully thought about how I moved. I just kind of moved which way was comfortable. And the pain doesn't really scare me as much because, you're being sliced open. So you're going to have pain. I'm not worried about being addicted to painkillers because I don't really have an addictive personality. I have many addictive things like hot sauce. But, opiates, I don't know what they give you for cesarean. I know it's a strong anti-inflammatory, some painkillers. I don't know. I read on one thing that they give you oxytocin. I don't know if that's during during the cesarean, before the cesarean, or after the cesarean, during the recovery process. I don't know. But I'm not really worried about getting addicted to painkillers. But I am worried about the recovery process and what makes me sad already is the fact that knowing that I'm going to have a cesarean. I can't say knowing that I'm going to have a cesarean because you never know. My water could break and then all of a sudden the babies could be here. I could give birth naturally. You never know. I'm not going to rule out natural birth at all. I'm going to try to do natural birth, but let's be real and just say I'm probably going to end up having a cesarean. Mostly because of my age, which I swear I roll my eyes at that. But anyways, my point is the fact that what makes me really sad now is the fact that Jim gets to hold the babies before I do. And it's they can't put the babies on my chest. I can kiss them and see them, but while they're stitching me up and wheeling me to the recovery room, I won't be able to hold them for a little while, and that's going to be really emotionally hard. And just knowing that I have to be in hospital for an extra day or two, depending on my progress, depending on the baby's progress, it's overwhelming. So I know a lot about multiple births. It's just it's unreal. And that's why I say I'm going through waves of emotions right now, because mostly it's the fact that we have to buy triple of everything. Strollers. We have to get one of those triple strollers. We have to buy 3 car seats. We have to buy 3 different cribs. Diapers are I do have my cloth diapers left over, but I'm going to need more cloth diapers because I still plan on doing cloth diapers as of right now. That's going to be really hard in 3 pregnancies, but not really, because cloth diapers now have little snaps or Velcro. So, but I do have a plan. One plan I'm going to stick to is I'm going to try, and I did this with one of my other babies. I can't remember which one, but it helped immensely, is go ahead and pre-outfold. Pre-outfold. I don't know how, unfold. That's it, not outfold. Unfold your diapers, right, and set them in a pile. So that way all you have to do is grab and go. You don't have to fumble around to unsnap it. Don't take the sticky thingies off, but just undo it. So that way all you have to do is lift and wrap and go. That's just my opinion. And it helped so much. It was so much faster to do it that way. But we decided that we're going to take the big room in the very, very back where Binks likes to sleep most of the time, change that into the baby's room because that's the biggest room. And then the smallest room will be for overflow. We will have to get a shed because we do have a lot of stuff in that back room right now. The good thing is that I have my favorite brown chair in that back room, which took me forever to get in that back room because the angle of the house to get that chair in was I don't know how I got that chair in that room, but once I got it in there, when we moved into this house, I was it's staying in there. I don't care. It's there. But so that will be good because I already have a chair to sit there and breastfeed. It's not a rocking chair. It came in a set. It was my mom's, and I love that chair. It's so comfortable and worn, and just it's one of those perfect basement chairs. It's suede. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, but. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going through waves. I'm looking up things on Amazon. I'm finally doing an Amazon baby registry. I'm hoping that this next appointment we'll be able to hear the heartbeats because the doctor said that the heartbeats are strong. So, and all 3 heartbeats were strong. So that I wish we would have heard the heartbeat today because you could see the babies on the monitor and see their heartbeat and see how strong it is, but actually hearing it is more of that realization. But I don't know, it's crazy because now it's I don't know, it's in my head, I have a few months to prepare mentally. And I'm not even going to get to the mental aspect of this right now. That will be for a different video because right now my mental status is like all over the place. But I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys that last little thing is that this week will be the transition week between 11 and 12 weeks. And then from like starting this Thursday, I'll start the 12 weeks. And then from now on, you'll see 12, 13. I guess it really doesn't put me behind. It's just like this week. I guess I could end this week on Wednesday and then do like a short thing and then start my 12 weeks on Thursday, if that makes sense. But I'm so used to doing it Sunday to Sunday to Sunday or Sunday to Saturday. I don't know. I'm probably confusing you guys as much as I'm probably confusing myself. It made sense in my head. We'll put it that way. But if you've watched me in my channel for like forever, you'll understand where my head goes. It's the ADHD of like, where was I going with this? But anyways, on a note, excuse me. Until tomorrow, I'm just happy that they're all healthy and they're all alive and they're all safe. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to get so huge. And then I'm like, oh my God, my mental status of not being able to like lose weight super fast because I'm going to have a cesarean. I know. It's the stupidest thing to think about. I know. It's the selfish thing to think about. But I'm sure like every mother out there who has like one baby to like 5 babies in their stomach or uterus, not stomach, uterus, thinks the same thing. Like, oh my God, how am I ever going to get my pre-baby body back? But especially mothers who have cesareans. If you or anybody else has cesarean, please tell me tips or tricks on anything. I'm sure the doctors and the nurses and everybody else in my care team will tell me, but I just need tips and tricks. If you know of anybody who has triplets, any tips or tricks, we won't find out the gender for a few more months, but that's okay. Probably by the next ultrasound, we'll have the gender, but yeah. Okay. Well, hello. It is the morning or afternoon, I should say. And now I know my hair looks lovely because I just threw it back because I am cooking right now. It is the afternoon of July 12th. So, how do I feel about having triplets? Okay, well, kind of, I feel as of right now, I know I said this yesterday, but as of right now, I feel confident. But I could just tell towards the end, I can go two ways. I can either sit there and freak out about towards the end not being ready to have triplets to come home and wanting to keep them inside like permanently until like we're fully ready, or I can sit there towards the end and really hate being pregnant because my belly will be too big and I'll want to actually get up and actually move instead of waddle. But that's where I'm at right now. So right now, woke up this morning. Jim had to take my mom's car back to her because he borrowed her car, and so I couldn't get back to. He woke up at like 4:30 this morning, 4:40 this morning, and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I started googling everything about like third trimester pregnancy stuff and cesareans and all this other stuff and how common it is that to conceive naturally triplets. And I kept saying triplets and triplets and triplets over and over in my head because it still is not real. I don't know if everybody who has twins or more, this happens where it doesn't feel real. It's in shock because I understand, I read enough articles and I know the doctors have told me that as you get older, there are chances of conceiving multiples naturally. So I just never fully believe that because I'm like, well, those are the people who use IVF or like other fertility things. And I know I've been using the cream, which again, shout out to the cream, but I didn't think like that would like enhance things, because we're going to go into detail here. You have to have one sperm to fertilize one egg, which means I released 3 eggs at one time, 3 separate eggs at one time. And that means that 3 different sperm have fertilized each egg, because each of my babies has its own sac, its own placenta, and its own umbilical cord. So that means that they are fraternal twins, not identical. Identical means they share one sac. You can have all 3 be identical, or you can have none of them be identical, which means we have fraternal twins, which means that they are 3 different eggs, 3 different sperm. Identical is 1 sperm, 1 egg, and then that 1 egg splits into like twins or etc. That's identical. But it doesn't mean that they won't look alike. The difference basically is that, yes, they will look alike because they're going to be siblings, but they just don't share one like sac, if that makes sense. The other positives are the fact that it's lower risk to have fraternal twins than it is identical, because if your water breaks with one, it's like, let's say all 3 of them shared one sac and your water breaks, that means all 3 of them have to be delivered like that. But if your water breaks with one of them, the other 2 may not break. I don't know how to explain that very well, but which means it's not as high risk. If your water breaks at any point, go to the hospital. We'll just put it that way. But yeah, so right now I'm in the process of making some random soup, vegetable soup that sounded really good with some bok choy and stuff. And then I'm going to be making, the tzatziki sauce, because Jim says I make really, really good tzatziki sauce, which is really weird because I don't do anything different. And it's like a couple ingredients. Sorry, my cat is right outside my kitchen window doing weird things. Anyways, he's made tzatziki sauce before, but he likes mine better. It's always better when somebody else cooks. I don't know. But I have to get that going because that has to chill out until dinner time. So, which I just realized I did not take out the Greek yogurt to do that. But, anyways, that's my plans today. I would put the dishes away and put the dirty dishes in the dishwasher. Jim is so funny and cute. Like, he says that since I am now pregnant with triplets, I should be resting and take it easy. And I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to be on more of a restrictive bed rest, because I pretty much put myself on bed rest when I moved into this house and I got pregnant the first time, and then now that I'm pregnant again with twins, triplets. Oh my God. I can't even like say triplets because it's just like, I don't know. But since we were pregnant, I kind of like, but I did read that most likely, I don't know if this is true until I go to the doctor, but most likely on the 21st, when I go back to Pender County Health Department for my last appointment there, and then be referred out to the high-risk center, I'm pretty sure that they're going to want to see me every 2 weeks until I'm like 24 weeks, which will be about September, October. And then they'll want to see me every week until the babies are born. I do know that I'm going to have multiple ultrasounds. Everything, like all my ultrasounds and my doctor's appointments, will be at the high-risk center, which is kind of nice. I don't have to like go anywhere. I wish the ultrasounds were back here in town, because that guy that did our ultrasounds was so nice. But that's okay. So I think by the time we get our next ultrasound, it'll probably be more real, because I'll be able to see them better, because they'll be bigger, obviously. Once I start to feel them move around, I will definitely be acknowledged. I probably, to be honest, I probably won't even realize I'm having triplets until they're born. And I'm having one of those Phoebe Buffet moments from Friends. Only I'm not pregnant with my brother's triplets, because that would be gross. Because one, I don't have a brother, so that would be gross. But I'm having the Phoebe Buffet moment right now, where I'm like, yeah. Anyways, so that's what I'm doing today. So far, that's my update today. So until either later on tonight or tomorrow. What is up, my YouTubers? It's Jennifer, and I'm coming at you today with a mental health check-in sort of video. Today, I will be talking specifically about one mental disorder and pregnancy. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, hi, I'm Jennifer, and I suffer from an array of different mental health issues, from ADHD, borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress syndrome, mid to high anxiety, and postpartum depression, but that's after pregnancy. Anyways, I'm pretty sure everybody suffers from mental health issues at one point. So anyways, so if, one, I'm in the process of cooking, so I will be talking to you guys about very specific topics. I'm in the process of cooking right now, so I'm going to be talking about one mental disorder, which is borderline personality disorder specifically, and pregnancy related, because that's the one that creeps up the most. I have other videos on my channel talking about borderline, so I'm not going to get into the full-on details of like what it means to be borderline. Now, I do know that you can either be mild to extreme borderline. You can have dual diagnosis with borderline and bipolar. I am not doing dual diagnosis. I do not have bipolar. So, I have been diagnosed a few times over my lifetime that rules out bipolar specifically. So, with that being said, today we're going to dive into the borderline personality disorder. Before I talk about all that, I want to apologize and say I am trying really hard to upload my videos every Monday. Right now, we are running on a hotspot because our internet, we got behind on the bill, so we don't have actual internet. We have to use our hotspot. So, yesterday's video that should have been uploaded is still being uploaded today. It is on 30%, and it's 1 p.m. now. I started uploading it yesterday at 9:30 a.m. So that's how long it's taking. So I apologize in advance when that video does upload. You'll probably see this video after that one, but I just wanted to apologize why I didn't upload on a Monday. But now that I know that it's going to take a few days to upload videos, I can start uploading them on like a Saturday or Friday. Anyways, so let's dive into it. So, like I said, I'm not going to go into full-on details of what borderline personality is, but I will talk about certain issues and what they mean to me being pregnant. So, this is not my first pregnancy. This would be my, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be my 6th pregnancy. I say 6 because my oldest son is 13. I have a 13-year-old, a 9-year-old. I had a stillborn at exactly 32 weeks in 2015. If you hear this loud noise, I apologize. I'm chopping carrots right now. I'm trying to do this quietly, but it's carrots. Then I had Cora, my baby that was killed at 16 weeks. We suffered a miscarriage last year, which I still have no idea what happened. I don't know if it's COVID related or what, because everybody was getting COVID. But we got COVID after I took these pills to help like expel the baby. Anyways, so this would be my 6th pregnancy. Anyways, so basically, borderline personality disorder. The first thing I want to talk about is the intense fear of being abandoned / cannot tolerate being alone. So basically, this is kind of a weird issue with me in pregnancy. So the intense fear of being abandoned goes from when people with borderline, okay, let's just talk about me. The intense fear of being abandoned basically comes from where me and Jim are not like paper married. We're married, but like we don't have the paperwork that says that we are, if that makes sense. So technically we're not legally married, if you want to put it that way. So the intense fear of being abandoned is the fact that like, what if he gets sick of me and leaves? Like, what if we have an argument or a fight? Because we've had fights before. And what if all of a sudden he decides he wants to leave and I can't stop him because we're not married, right? So, and you would think that being pregnant would stop somebody. Not always. But that intense fear of being abandoned. And that stems from like anybody that you love. That can stem from like, you know, your parents, your kids, your best friend. I mean, that's anybody. And living way out in the country, we're not way out in the country, but we're far enough away to where we have neighbors, but we're far enough away to where I can't just get up and like walk down the street and hop on a bus and like, you know, be around people. But the not being able to be alone, that's where it's hit or miss with me, because I like being alone. I don't like it all the time. I just, sometimes I feel like right now, I feel like I get a lot more done when Jim's not here. I love him to death. And if he does see this video, I apologize to him, because yes, I love having him home, because there's a lot of things that being pregnant I can't do that I want to do. But sometimes it's like I have to keep reminding, like the cat litter box. It's like, babe, you have to clean the litter box. And he doesn't. And it takes a few days. And I'm like, you know, if we feed our cats tuna, because we feed our cats tuna as a treat, obviously that is going to make them go to the bathroom more, and they're going to stink up the litter box. And since my sinuses, actually I shouldn't say sinuses, since I can smell like literally everything, and our cat box is behind me in our laundry room, which is near our bedroom, and I can smell it sometimes when I walk by the laundry room. Anyways, before I go into full-on detail. But, so the alone part is kind of hit or miss, because sometimes I hate being alone and I want him home, especially when he goes to DoorDash. And when he's door dashing, there are times where, you know, you'll have like between 9 and midnight that they'll say, hey, you can make $3 extra. Or like between midnight and 3 a.m., you can make like $6 extra. So of course he's going to stay out and get that extra money, which is, like, you know, good, right? However, in my head, the fear of abandonment of, oh my God, now what's going to happen, because he just like left me for the whole night and I don't want to be alone. And then there's days where he'll do it like all weekend, like from Friday to Sunday night or Monday morning. And he'll stay at my mom's because it's easier for him to stay at my mom's, which is closer for him to DoorDash than it is where we live, because he has to drive into town to get like the little red zone. Green zone, red zone. I don't know much about DoorDash. It's one of those zones. So it's really hard because sometimes he goes away all night. Now, why? It's more intense when you're pregnant, because like, especially this first trimester, every single time anything would happen, which goes into my next point, irrational fears. This goes into my next point. I have such irrational fears. I know that they're irrational. I know that they are. So how do I stop them? Good question. It's taking me years to figure out how to stop these irrational fears, because I will always have them. It's the irrational fear of, oh my God, Jim's out all night. Now maybe, what if he gets in a car accident? Or what if he gets arrested? Or what if, like, he's cheating on me and he's not really actually door dashing, you know? Like, it's so stupid. And I know if Jim watches this video, he'll laugh, because we talk about this. I actually do kind of try to communicate with him and say, hey, look, I'm having these fears. And he reassures me. And sometimes in my head, I'm like, well, you're just reassuring me because it's convenient to live here, if that makes sense. And that's an irrational fear. It's not that it's convenient to live here. He loves me. He wants to marry me. We practically are married. We're going to have kids. And I don't understand, like, if that's like a normal pregnancy fear of like your spouse goes to work and you're left alone with all of your thoughts, and or if it's an irrational fear where it's so extreme that's like, that makes no sense. To me, an irrational fear is something that can't be justified, if that makes sense. Basically, like, okay, how about this? I started recording my pregnancy vlogs, right? And you will see those from week 5 until, like, pretty much I'll have them until I give birth, and then afterwards. But my irrational fear was every single time I'd have a cramp, or I wouldn't have nausea, or I wouldn't have heartburn. Like right now, I'm in the process of cooking. I feel pretty good because I slept well. Normally, I would think, oh my God, what's wrong? Because I'm not having the normal first trimester pregnancy issues, right? This is where the irrational fear comes in. Every pregnancy is different. Every pregnancy is different. Some people can have extreme nausea until the baby's born, and you have to be on medication for that. Some people have no symptoms at all and don't even know that they're pregnant until they give birth, which bless them for having that. Me, on the other hand, started out physically sick, like throwing up, which I never did in any of my pregnancies. I've been nauseous, but not physically throwing up. There was 2 weeks, as soon as we took the test, and then I think until like the 6.5 weeks in, I was throwing up almost every day. I could keep food down, but it was very hard to keep food down. So then I got paranoid in my head. The irrational fear is that, oh my God, what if I can't keep anything down? I'm going to have to get on medication. And that spirals into the anxiety, which I already have mid to high anxiety. So that spirals into anxiety, which is very strenuous on my body and the baby's body, because you want to stay calm, or try to stay calm for the baby, so you're not stressing the baby out, and it can cause an array of problems. And then I get paranoid that I'm overstressing. And so it was just a spiral of irrational fears. Another big irrational fear is the fact that, like, oh my God, we are so far behind in bills. What if we never catch up? Or what if, like, we never, like, I don't even know where I was going with that. Hold on. Let me pause. All right. All right. So yeah, that's where my irrational fears are. There's other irrational fears, like, a lot of times, going back to the litter box, like, where what if smelling the litter box, because my sense of smell is so enhanced, what if smelling the litter box or walking by that area or doing the laundry is like that, smelling it is causing something? It's because I'm trying to do everything that I can right. Like, I'm not really drinking caffeine. I drink caffeine with all of my pregnancies, and my kids are fine. So it's like I have such irrational fears, and I think it's because I'm so paranoid because of last year with the miscarriage that something could happen. And I know where these fears stand from. This is why I know that it's my borderline's getting a little tiny bit better. Ever since that stillborn, ever since Lillian, I have been paranoid about making it to the 32-week mark or beyond. Now, I will get into that in a minute here. Anyways, so the next thing is frequent displays of inappropriate anger. Now, when you're pregnant, and I'm going to keep saying when you're pregnant, or when I am pregnant, because I am pregnant, duh, anger issues. So I've always had anger issues my entire life. I mean, let's just face it. I was a very bratty child. Difficult. Not bratty. We'll say difficult child. When I didn't like to be punished. I didn't like to be grounded. I would throw the worst tantrums. I remember, like, slamming my door, throwing all my toys around my room, and just like it was horrible. But now that I'm pregnant, my hormones obviously are enhanced. And when I get angry, I don't know how to calm down. I normally don't know how to calm down anyways when I'm angry, because if I get angry, it takes me a while to get angry. It does take me a while to get angry. I stew. I build up all these irrational fears. And if I don't talk about them, then they sit there and they stew. Hence is why most borderlines don't like being alone, because they're alone with their thoughts. And they don't know how to get their thoughts out. But anyways, so I just will explode. And it's mostly when I'm tired. It's mostly when I have no sleep and extreme stress. As soon as we found out we were pregnant, I don't remember which week it was. It was like probably week 6 or something. Like, I didn't sleep well because of my sinuses. I couldn't get comfortable. I was throwing up, all this other stuff. So I wasn't sleeping well, right? And our little puppy, we love him to death, pooped in the house because he's still learning. And he must have did that overnight. And Jim got up and he didn't want to clean it up. He saw it. He didn't want to clean it up. So he took the dog outside and he came back to bed. He was in a very bad mood. And I got up because I knew it had to be cleaned up. And then he got frustrated and angry, not at me, just at the situation. And I took it out as if he got angry at me. And that just escalated. And I just basically exploded, thinking like, I don't know. But so basically inappropriate anger over like stupid things. Yeah. Impulses such as substance abuse or sexual relationships. I wouldn't say I have impulses on being pregnant. I don't really have impulses for substance abuse or sexual relationships. I mean, pregnancy is one of those things where you want to be intimate with your partner. Not all pregnancies you want to be intimate. Some people can't even stand the thought of like blinking at their like partner, if you have a partner. And then other people like me want to be with their partner all the time, if that makes sense. Like I'm very attracted to Jim, and I want to like just like that all the time, if that makes sense. And that spirals back to the irrational fears and the fear of abandonment and the being alone part, because when he's outdoor dashing all night, and in my head I think, oh my God, he's cheating on me because now we're not having this intimate moment when I want to. He must be doing something else, which is stupid. So, and then the cycle continues. And so, yeah. Repeated crises and acts of self-injury, such as wrist cutting or overdosing. I am reading this from a screen right now while I'm recording this, so I can give you guys kind of a overview of what happens. All right, so basically you cry wolf in pregnancy, or I mean in borderline. So there are times where I'm not going to do anything to harm myself with being pregnant. We'll put it that way. I absolutely refuse to self-harm when I'm pregnant. What scares me the most, and this is where I'm getting into the after pregnancy, since I am prone to postpartum depression. I know I was specifically going to talk about borderline, but this is a huge, huge topic I also have to talk about, because postpartum depression is a serious issue. I am prone to it. I've had it with all of my kids. And I don't know if that's because I am a borderline and everything's increased, or if I don't know if I'm going to get it this time around. I have no idea. It's a hit or miss. I just know I'm prone to it. And with that being said, I will tell you guys right now, we are pregnant with triplets. Yes. So I had to put that in there now, because if you didn't see my other video of me and Jim trying to, or announcing it, well, yes, we are pregnant with triplets. So we went to the doctor yesterday, because yesterday was Monday. And we walked in, and I was so nervous. Like an hour before Jim came home, and and we went to the doctors. I was distracted for a second. I was distracted because I'm looking at this onion going, I was supposed to cut up this onion for my soup. Anyways, there's the ADHD. But anyways, so we went to the doctors, and I was so nervous. An hour before, I was so nervous. I was shaking. I was so nervous. I wasn't getting sick, though. Luckily, I wasn't getting sick, because apparently when my anxiety heightens in this pregnancy, I was getting sick. That's another reason why I was getting paranoid at the very beginning of my first trimester. I had to wash my hands off. But that's why I was getting paranoid at the beginning of my first trimester, because I'd have a panic attack, and then I would get sick. And then I thought, oh my God, what if I'm going to have panic attacks throughout my entire pregnancy? They're going to have to put me on some kind of anxiety medication, and then I'm going to have to be monitored even more closely. And I can't do that, because that's probably how my stillborn happened, because I don't know. Anyways, so as you can tell where my head was going with that. But anyway, so we got to the doctor, and he put me on the table, and he did the over the belly ultrasound, because I didn't need a vaginal ultrasound, which is kind of nice. And he looked at the screen, and the first thing he asked me was, were you guys doing any like in vitro? And I said no. And then I had to think, I was like, what is that? What is in vitro? And I was like, oh, it's IVF. Okay. And I looked at him, I go, no, why? And I thought, oh my God, what's wrong? And I thought, I don't know why I thought that something was wrong at that point, probably because of last year, and my fears instantly went to red flag as soon as he said that, because he kind of paused, and then question it. And when he looked at the screen, because I was looking at the screen too, and he's like, because you guys are having triplets. And I'm like, what? And I just remember going, what? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, nah. And Jim and me both, because he was sitting in the chair behind the doctor so he could see the screen. And we're both like, what? No, no, no. So he showed us, he goes, yeah. And we're like, you're joking. And neither of us believed it because we're like, you're like, what? So yeah, we saw on the screen that there's 3 different babies, 3 different sacks, 3 different placentas, 3 different umbilical cords, which means they are fraternal twins, not identical. Identical twins actually share a sac. You can have all 3 of them share one sac, or 2 of them share one sac. But fraternal twins each have their own individual sacs. With that, that means that I had, and I probably already mentioned this in a different video somewhere, but we're going to repeat it in this one. Because in my head, I heard triplets, and I'm like, how am I pregnant with triplets? And he asked again if we were doing anything like outside of the natural realm to get pregnant. And I told him, I was like, well, the only thing that I did was I bought this cream that's a progesterone cream. It's like SM Nutrition or Nutra something off of Amazon. And I was using that since we had the miscarriage. And he's like, yeah, because you guys are having triplets. And so in my head, I went into pure shock. I'm still in shock about it. But that's where new fears with borderline have come in. So it's hit or miss. It's waves. I have waves of like, okay, I've been pregnant before. I've breastfed before. I know the routine of having a newborn in the house, of losing sleep, of waking up so many hours, of being uncomfortable towards the end and everything else. And so it's not a big deal. It's just everything's times 3. So with that being said, I feel confident that we can do it. But then on the other hand, most of me right now is confident that we can do this. However, in my head, my big fears are we don't have time to save up for this baby because triplets, especially at my age, because I'm 37, all triplets come early. Let's just face it. Like, there's a rare chance that they ever make it to full pregnancy. I think online, I know, don't believe everything you read on the internet, by the way, but I think the furthest anybody's ever made it was like 36 weeks. But that was like in a different part of the world anyways. And she was probably a lot younger. I can't remember. But anyways, so they said the average weeks that triplets are born is usually like earliest is like, or like the late, oh my God, I can't even talk, you guys. 32 weeks or more. As long as they make it past, I think the 26th or 28th week, I'm fine with that. But anyway, so basically, our due date is January, well, they first gave us January 29th. He pushed it up to January 26th. Since we know that the babies are going to come early, it's probably going to be 1st of December. And they will have me come in after this appointment, which is on the 21st, which is next week. After that appointment at Pender County Health Department, I will be referred out to the high-risk clinic, and they'll do all my ultrasounds and everything there. I will be going probably every 2 weeks. They said with triplets, you usually go every 2 weeks, and then until you're like 24, 26 weeks, and then you go every week. I will have multiple ultrasounds in there, so I will be updating you guys with those in my pregnancy vlog. But, so, with everything changed when we heard that. Everything changed. So now I have new fears of, basically, it's the affordability. Like, we now have to get 3 different car seats. We now have to get 3 different cribs. Because I know for a little while they could probably all fit and stay in one pack and play until they start to, like, move around and stuff, which is fine. And we can save up for cribs. But we have to get 3 different strollers. Well, not 3 different strollers. We have to get one of those really big strollers with the 3 seats. But the fact that we have to get 3 different car seats, if they don't fit in our vehicle, then we have to get a different vehicle, and we can't afford that, like, at all. So it's like all of these new fears have come up, and I can't talk about what Jim's feeling, but I know I briefly touched on the self-harming part, but I'm getting back to that. But so yeah, all these new irrational fears are coming up. Like, oh my God, now I have 3 babies I have to take care of. What if, like, one of them dies and the other 2 survive? Or what if I don't make it to the end and they all die? What if I do make it to the end and all of a sudden my water breaks at home and I don't have time to rush to a hospital and one of them gets stuck? Like, I deliver one of them and then the other 2 are just stuck. I mean, it's like all of these fears come up. And I know that's normal. That's normal fears for anybody having multiples. So, but in my head, it's like I make it a lot worse, because I don't know how to explain, like, I make it worse because I know that those are normal fears, but in my head it just sounds much worse. It's a borderline thing, I guess. Let me go ahead and pour this in here before I forget. So basically, I will have to have a cesarean. You can have natural births, which is ideally what I would like, is to have natural births. But I know the risk. So I'm fine. Okay, I'm fine with having a cesarean. I'm fine with that. The part of it that scares me is the fact that, like, and I know this is going to sound really, 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 really selfish right now. I already suffered from body image problems, right? I hated gaining weight. Before I found out I was pregnant with the miscarriage. And after the miscarriage, I was trying to get back in shape. And I hated the fact that I wasn't, like, I was lazy and I wasn't losing weight fast enough, even if I tried to start working out. Now, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to have such a huge belly that even with a cesarean, I'll have all that loose skin. And I don't know how I'll get my, like, pre-body back. And in my head, that's very mentally straining on me right now. It's the fact that I'll look at my body and I will hate it. And I know that sounds really selfish. And I'm not alone on that one. I know that there's other mothers out there who feel that way. Because you just gave life. You had babies. Your babies survived. And you carried them to life and made sure that they were safe. And you should be happy and celebrating. However, being prone to postpartum depression and borderline, I will probably spiral. And that's what scares me. It's like, I don't want to spiral. And that's where the self-harming comes in, because I get to a point where I start to over-worry. I start to have all these irrational fears, and then I'll lose sleep. And when I lose sleep, I tend to get angry. Not all the time. When I lose sleep, I tend to get really delusional, kind of like you're drunk. You get very loopy when I lose sleep. I giggle a lot when I sleep. When I lose sleep, but the fear is the fact that I'll be so overwhelmed. I know I won't be alone. I'm sure people will come and stay and help out, but it's just the fact that I'll be so overwhelmed, and I don't know. It's like I'm going to start crying because I know the reality, and it scares the crap out of me. It really, truly does. That's why I say I'm going through waves, because I'm confident that we can do this. I'm confident that I can do this, but it's the mental aspect. And I know how to communicate to my doctor. Excuse me. I'm literally about to start crying here, but it's like, I don't want to be put back in the yokes. Because I don't want to leave 3 newborns alone with Jim or whoever else is going to help out. And that's what scares me. And I'm scared that, like, I'm going to have a mental breakdown, I guess. And I can't plan on it, but I'm very much aware that it could happen. And that's why I'm going to try to communicate to my doctor as much as possible. Or have a support team. I have a great support team. And Jim's going to be here as much as possible, but he has to work because he has to make money. And it just scares me. And I don't know. It's like, I'm well aware that I'm going to lose sleep. I'm well aware that's going to be overwhelming. I know I know that. I know that if I have a cesarean, it's going to take longer to recover. I won't be able to do like as much as I want to. That's what drives me, I think, insane, is because right now I can't move furniture to sweep underneath it if I want to. I do, but I shouldn't. But like, I can't lift heavy things. My stomach isn't that big. I'll show you guys really fast. So my stomach is not that big. But yeah, this is what almost 12 weeks looks like. Yes, I'm in underwear, so hopefully YouTube won't demonetize me, but that's why I'm not showing everything. But it is getting harder because we have a top-loading washing machine to reach in there because I'm short and I stand on my tippy toes like this, put my belly to the side and reach in. Once my belly grows, I won't be able to do that, which I already feel guilty about that. And I don't know if that's a borderline or just a pregnancy thing, where I already feel guilty because I can't clean a litter box like when it needs to be cleaned, because I used to clean it every other day to make sure to be on top of it so it wouldn't build up. It's getting harder to do laundry. I get worn out when I do too much. I don't know. It's just, I'm excited. How about that? I am very excited that we are pregnant. One, that all three babies are healthy. They have strong heartbeats. They're healthy. There are in there. They each have their own individual sacs. I did read, or the doctor actually told me that there's a lower risk of mishaps when they each have their own individual sacs, as opposed to basically when they're fraternal twins, they have a lower risk of mishaps than it is identical twins. I kind of last night researched a little bit about it, so I'm a research person, which probably is also why I have irrational fears, because I start to research one thing and then I research everything and then I stay up all night researching, and I know that's not just a borderline thing. I know that's any person who's, yeah. But then I try, and then my irrational fears happen. But yeah, that's about, I guess, everything I want to talk about. I'm sure I'm leaving things out. But so far, you'll see throughout my pregnancy vlogs what I'm talking about. You'll see my moods, up, down, everything. I just wanted to come on here and say that being a borderline, I haven't been on medication for years because I've tried different medications. Zoloft really, really worked. I really liked Zoloft. You can take Zoloft in pregnancy. You just have to be monitored a little bit better. Zoloft's like one of the few anti-anxiety meds that you can take. However, Zoloft was making me physically sick, so they had to take me off of it. But I haven't been on any medications because I figured out with diet, exercise, like cleaning, if I go through an anxiety attack or if I have a lot of irrational fears, like if my borderline starts acting up and then it leads to my anxiety acting up, which means me having panic attacks, I tend to clean. So, and it's going to be really hard in the future as my belly grows to not be able to get up and move around when I'm having a panic attack. That, I think, what scares me most is the fact that I'm already kind of put myself on bed rest, but if they put me on more of a bed rest, like say, like you can only get up to move from the bedroom to the couch, or from the couch to the bathroom, or like don't go on strenuous walks or something, then it's gonna be hard. Well, I don't really strenuously walk now. I was thinking like walking around the grocery store, but I don't know. It's scary. I'm thrilled. I still am in shock, you guys. I'm really truly in shock because I guess it doesn't make sense. In my head, it's not real yet. In my head, my doggy is growling at me because I'm ignoring him. But no, it's my head. It's like scary and it doesn't feel real yet. And I'm sure it'll feel real when I feel them move and I see the next ultrasound of a more clear picture of them. But I don't know. It's just like, it puts a whole new set of fears into me. A whole new set of fears. Mostly about the affordability. I know there's still a formula shortage out there. I still plan on breastfeeding. I breastfed all my kids as best as I could. With Cora, my youngest, well, now my other youngest, I overproduced, and I'm hoping that with triplets, I can produce enough to at least pump, because I know I really want to try and pump, so that way when I do need to rest, that somebody else can take over and feed. It's just scary. I'm terrified. I really, truly am. I'm not going to like lie and say that, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. We're having triplets. No, I'm genuinely terrified of having triplets, because it's mostly because of my mental health. That's what scares me the most in spiraling after the baby's born. But don't worry. I have at least a few months to prepare. So I do know that in December, once it gets closer to the end, one of two things will happen. We either will schedule the induction date or the cesarean date, or I can wait as long as I possibly can, unless the doctor says you have to schedule it like now. I kind of want to try to wait until December 15th if I can. I don't know why, but I want to try to wait it out as long as possible. Sorry, my internet's being funny, so if I'm looking to the side of the screen, it's because I have to reconnect it, because I'm still trying to upload this YouTube video. But I'm not going to make this video any longer because it's already getting into like past 30 minutes. Well, on the note, if you did enjoy this video, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or concerns, or advice, if you know anybody who has multiple babies, to please, advice for me, advice for the dad, because I don't think dads get enough credit, or moms. I mean, if you're, in a gay relationship, congrats. And if whoever is with you, basically, if you're doing it alone, I mean, hats off to you. But anybody who has multiple babies, please, please comment below, because even if it's just words of encouragement, even if it just says, like, you've got this, because my mental status just blew my mind yesterday, and now I'm almost getting into panic. And I laugh at that because part of me is like, I'm in panic mode because we don't have time to like save up and buy anything. And then the other part of me is like, oh, we've got plenty of time. We've got like we're fine, But now it's like I have to make sure to be extra careful with three babies. So on a note, if you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, turn on that bell notification. I try to upload every single Monday. My pregnancy vlogs, I will be uploading a lot more, depending on my internet service, So basically, whenever my videos upload, that's why you have to turn on that bell notifications, because apparently I have no idea when they're going to be uploading now. Yay! Which actually adds to my stress, because I like doing these videos, because I like to give content like this, especially the mental health videos, because this is why I specifically made my channel in the first place, to give people my perspective of any type of mental health, especially being pregnant, especially now with triplets. It's crazy, you guys. I have no idea how to even explain it. But on that note, you guys stay positive and awesome, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.